Today we're going to be talking about the things I wish I knew before I joined the Army. But without further ado, let's get to it. What's up, guys? So like I just said, we're going to be talking about the things I wish I knew before I joined the Army. There's like 9 or 10 of these things that I made on this list that I have. But it's going to be a pretty straightforward video, so be sure to like this video. Be sure to comment down below what are some of the things you wish you knew before joining, or some of the things you're trying to look up right now because you're currently in the process of joining. And also, most importantly, subscribe. It really helps out our channel, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can follow me on Instagram at Ben_Allen175. I try to answer everyone. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. Alright, guys, so number one, straight off the bat, is I wish I would have researched a little more, right? Because coming into the Army, I really didn't know, like, what jobs were available, how long was each AIT. Really, the only 68 job I knew of was 68 Whiskey, right? So when I went to the recruiters, I was like, I want to be a 68 Whiskey. I didn't look up anything else. I didn't care about anything else. But, looking back on it, hey, maybe 68 Charlie or 68 Delta would have been a little more fun, and it probably would have learned a lot more about, medical stuff as opposed to just being a 68 Whiskey. And I wish I would have asked the recruiter a little more questions, right? Like, hey, like, what bonuses are available? How long is this? How can I, go to Ranger school? How do I go to Airborne school? All that stuff. So I wish I would have had a bunch of YouTube channels like there are today, because back then there really wasn't a whole lot of military YouTubers. So definitely do your research, guys. That's something I regret not doing enough of before joining. Moving on, I'm going to be talking about duty stations, right? You join the Army, you're thinking, yes, bro, I'm going to go to Hawaii. I'm going to go to, Japan, to Korea, Germany. I'm gonna get to explore the world, and then you end up at like Fort Hood or something, right? And you're just like, well, this sucks. I used to think going in that you could choose where you were going to be stationed. I thought that was great. I thought that was awesome. But come to find out, once I was in, they're like, oh no, you don't get to choose. You get like a wish list, and maybe they'll send you where you want to be sent. Chances are they're not gonna send you where you want to be sent. They'll send you where the Army needs you. It's needs of the Army. So I wish I would have known that coming in, because I thought I was gonna be stationed like in Hawaii or something, that I was gonna pick somewhere cool, somewhere cool overseas, or just somewhere cool stateside. So keep that in mind, guys. That all comes back to doing your research as well. Another thing I wish I would have known is how fast things actually move in the Army once you're actually there, right? Like I remember, doing basic, blink of an eye, it was over. And then going to AIT, 16, 18 weeks, blink of an eye, it was over. It went by so fast. And then I get to my first duty station at Fort Bliss. We get there and we're like, oh yeah, hey, we're going to Kuwait in a month. A month passes by, we're in Kuwait now, right? But not even in the military for like 6 months at this point, right? And it's like, yo, like we're literally overseas right now in the Middle East. Granted, it's just Kuwait, but still, for a brand new private, you think everything's like big and scary, for the first time because you've never been there, right? And you're like, yo, we're really out here. And then, the 9 months in Kuwait goes by fast, and we're back at Bliss. And then, oh yeah, hey, in a year and a half or two, we're going to Korea. And then, you blink, your military contract's over, guys. My 4 years went by like that, active duty. I'm currently in the reserves now. I switched from active duty to the reserves after my contract was up. But it went by so fast, and I wish I would have cherished it a little more, right? As much as you can cherish being active duty Army. If you know, right? But it's just one of those things, like I would have wish I took the time to like slow down and really, form some more bonds with people, because that's what really made the experience better for me, is the people I got to meet and hang out with. So just be careful, guys. Cherish the times you have. And moving on to the next thing, also has to do with time, is I wish I would have managed my free time a little better. And what I mean by this is, like you get free time, right? You're gonna have, obviously, at your first duty station, once you're in the real Army, you're gonna have the weekends to yourself, probably, hopefully. And some people just choose to stay in the barracks, and I did that for a little bit. And I wish I would have gone out and explored El Paso a little more. I wish I would have gone out more with the boys, had a good time. I wish I would have read a little more on my free time instead of just playing video games, or take some financial classes to really get my head right and get my finances in order. I just wish I would have done more productive things with the free time I did have in the Army, because I think it would have set me up for a little more success once I got out. But that's just one of those little ones that I I wish I would have focused on a little more, you know, but hey, it is what it is. So next on the list is toxic leadership, guys. You know, coming into the Army, you're thinking, oh, well, you know, these are gonna be my brothers, my sisters, they're gonna have my back through thick and thin, you know, it's the Army, it's a brotherhood. And then you come to find out that, you know, not everybody has your best interest at heart, you know, such as toxic leaders that are just trying to, you know, promote themselves, or just worried about their own career, don't care about the soldiers underneath them, or going out of their way to just make your time in the Army horrible and miserable. And, you know, I've had a few of those, but they've come and gone, right? We've trucked through it, and it's been a good learning opportunity, right? To just not take everybody at face value, and just to really understand that there's more than meets the eye to certain individuals. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I thought it was going to be one big family. Was I mistaken, right? For the most part, there's definitely that family aspect, but there's also, you know, there's those few relatives in the family that just kind of ruin it for everybody. So keep that in mind. Toxic leadership is a thing, but don't let it bring you down. Stay focused, and you'll be good in the long run, just like, you know, I was. So you're going to be okay. Don't worry. So this one is a big one, relationships, right? I didn't know what kind of idea I had of relationships before going in the Army, right? You know, I had a girlfriend, got cheated on in basic, you know, that was that. Probably the best thing that could have happened to me, right? Because, you know, I got to explore life, meet all these wonderful, you know, people afterwards. It was great. But, you know, going to basic, having that happen, you're like, yo, what the heck, bro? That's kind of unfortunate. Like, what the, you know, you'd think people would be loyal, right? And what I saw in the Army, you know, whether it was basic, AIT was real prominent, right? You had people that were married, you know, with husbands, wives, children, you know, they have boyfriends, girlfriends, significant others, and they're just people out there cheating on one another, people hooking up, you know, in places, you know, where they could find places to hook up at, and you're like, yo, what the heck? This like completely shatters my idea of what I had for relationships, whatever it was, right? But it wasn't that. I thought people were just, you know, loyal to each other. You know, cheating happens, but I didn't think it happened as much as it did, you know, in the Army and shit like that. It was absolutely wild seeing, like, you know, married people, you know, just not giving a shit about their significant others back home, or people were getting letters from back home or texts from back home saying, oh yeah, hey, like this happened, I hooked up with this person, I don't think it's gonna work. So many failed relationships. I also saw relationships prosper in the Army. You know, two of my buddies, they got married, they're still married to this day. It's wild, right? But it really opens your eyes, you know, as to, you know, what relationships are kind of like, you know, whether in the real life and military, and it's kind of an eye-opener. It really changes your perspective and gives you a little more insight into that, and you're kind of like, yeah, maybe I don't want a relationship right now, you know what I'm saying? Alright guys, so just a few more on this list. If you're enjoying it so far, be sure to like this video, be sure to comment down below which one's the craziest thing you've heard so far, and what are some of the things you wish you knew before joining the Army, and subscribe guys. Take 2 seconds to hit the button. It really helps us out. We post content every Friday, go live every Wednesday, and moving on, right? So I wish I would have studied more, right? And what I mean by this is, you know, in basic, you have to memorize a lot of stuff, like the Soldier's Creed, the Army values, just everything like that, Army song. And every time you get it wrong, at least in my basic training, we had to do push-ups or some form of corrective training, whether it was squats, flutter kicks, whatever, right? And I wish I would have had the upper hand, you know, really take that future soldier program, you know, seriously, really take in what they're teaching you. I wish I would have paid attention more when we were doing like marching practice in the future soldier program, just because I sucked at marching. I still do. And it's just one of those things that just finding the rhythm is horrible. But, you know, I wish I would have taken the time to study, you know, the warrior tasks and drills beforehand, and just, you know, overall, you know, go in there better prepared, knowing, you know, like what the ranks were, things like that. And that's what I mean by studying typically. So just really, if you can find the time, guys, really do study. It'll help you out a lot, I promise. So hitting on the topic of studying, the next thing I wish I knew more about while I was in the service was how the whole like school process was, and like the tuition assistance process was. Like I didn't find out until like maybe my 3rd year in the Army how the whole like education center worked and how to apply for school, how to do TA. Granted, I still never did it, but I saw all of my friends that were doing it do it, and you know, it was kind of eye-opening, like, yo, wow, this is a process. You know, like you really got to get on the ball, like as soon as you get to your unit, to be able to start getting access to this stuff. You know, go to the education center, guys. If you don't know where it is, ask your leadership or Google it on the maps, you know, for the base that you're at, and find it. Go there. If school is your thing, talk to them. They'll set you up. They'll, you know, show you how to use TA, show you how to apply, show you how to do this, that, and the other, guys. So you don't have to use your GI Bill while you're you're in or anything like that. And that's just something I really wish I would have, you know, dug a little more into, because had I done that, I probably would have started school while in the Army, but instead I didn't and have yet to go to college because I'm doing other things in my life right now that are, you know, beneficial and they pay decent. So I'm not really too focused on that. If all else fails, you know, hey, I'll go to school, fall back on something, right? But for now, I'm just chilling, and but it's still something I wish I would have known, because then I'd be able to make more videos on it for you guys. But hey, if you guys want a video on schooling and stuff, I could probably find out how to do it and make a video for y'all. But yeah, I wish I would have looked a little more into how that whole process for college in the Army worked. This next one kind of goes without saying, right? I wish I would have worked out a little more before joining the Army. You know, I wasn't like hella out of shape or anything, right? Like I was decent in basic, AIT, going on forward. But, you know, I wish I would have had a little more of an upper hand. I wish I would have ran a little more before going to basic, because we ran a bit in basic, and like my body wasn't used to it, so I had to adapt to it. It took a little longer than other people that were already prepared because they worked out in the civilian side before joining. So I wish I would have done, you know, more push-ups, more sit-ups, more running, and hit the gym a little more, especially now with the ACFT coming in, guys, or it's already there. You definitely want to be well-rounded in terms of physical fitness, but that's just one of the things looking back that I wish I would have put a little more effort into. Nothing crazy, but you know, me personally, that's just something I wish I would have focused on, you know, coming into the Army, right? Alright, so this next one, right, this is number 10. I have one more after this one, but this one is probably the most important, guys. The most important thing I wish I would have done while still in the Army, right? And this is going to sick call when I actually needed to go to sick call, right? And I say this because, especially as a medic, right? Medics don't get sick, medics don't go to sick call, because there's the whole stigma behind it. Oh, if the medic's going to sick call, you know, like, you know, what about me? Like, and you know, leadership too, this goes back to toxic leadership, like, oh, none of my medics are going to go to sick call. Or, you know, if you're the infantry, they're like, oh, going to sick call makes you weak, you're a bitch if you go to sick call, right? Dude, throw all that out the window, fuck that shit. Like, if you're hurt, go to sick call. Get it documented, right? If you sprain your ankle, get it documented. If you get a paper cut, get it documented, guys. Anything and everything that may be wrong with you, legitimately wrong with you, don't go just to get out of PT. Don't be the boy that cried sick call, right? But if there's something wrong with you, say you hurt your back, you know, doing PT, or, you know, you slam your hand on a vehicle door or something, go to sick call, get it checked out, because in the end, when you get out of the military, your time in service is said and done, you know, your body may be a little more fucked up than it used to be, right? You may get arthritis in your hands, you may have a bad knee, you know, you may have tendonitis, who knows, right? But and when you go to the VA to try to get it service connected, they're going to be like, oh, well, you didn't go to sick call for it. It's not in your medical records. It doesn't show up, so it's not service connected. This has happened to you on your own somehow, right? And a lot of people get screwed out of their VA disability when they're, you know, applying for it. They're a veteran now, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. You know, go to sick call when needed. Don't listen to them. Like, they cannot tell you not to go to sick call if something's legitimately wrong with you. Like, you can file a complaint against them if that happens, but just keep that in mind, guys. And if you guys want videos discussing like the VA and like how all the disability stuff works, I'm currently in the process, right? I've been going through it since I've been out, just claiming, you know, the things that were wrong with me in the service. So if you guys want videos about the VA and stuff like that, let me know, comment down below. And yeah, that's the 10th thing, guys, that I wish I would have known. Biggest things so far, honestly. So the final thing, guys, that we're going to talk about is, you know, I wish looking back at my time in service now, I wish I would have enjoyed my time more, you know, because looking back, you know, when you're in the moment, you're kind of like, yo, this sucks, bro. I can't wait to get out. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, this shit is annoying. Like, I'm done with the Army, blah, 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 right? All that stuff. You hear it time and time and again. But now that I'm here, you know, as a civilian, you know, kind of in the reserves as well, looking back at my active duty time, you know, I miss it here and there, and I'm just kind of like, oh, dude, you know what? That was dope. It wasn't that bad. I actually had a good time in the field. You know, it might have sucked, but, you know, you were with the boys, having a good time. You're all sucking together. And it's just one of those things, like, you know, you really got to learn to cherish it a lot more, because everybody's so quick and ready to get out, but, you know, a lot of people don't have a plan for when they get out, and so they kind of reminisce. It either leads to them going back in, or, you know, not having a solid, you know, career path for when they do that. But just looking back, guys, just take the time to enjoy your military service. You know, even if it sucks, just trying to hunt the good stuff, right? If you've done master resiliency training, you know what hunt the good stuff is, and it's something you definitely got to do in the Army. Because it's not all butterflies and rainbows, right? There's gonna be shitty times, but it's what you make out of the situations. Laugh about it, and you'll be okay. But that's my list, guys. I think that was like 11 things that we hit on of things I wish I knew before joining the Army, and you know, some not like while I was in the Army as well. But it's just a lot of stuff, guys. You know, and everybody's gonna have a different list, kind of. Everybody wishes they knew something else. But that's my own personal list. I want you guys to drop your list down in the comment section below. Tell me 5 things you wish you would have known before joining the Army, or if this video helped you get a better understanding because you're in the process of joining, let me know as well. And like this video, guys. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, definitely help me out by dropping that follow. We're trying to hit 30K in like the next week and a half. I think we can make it happen with y'all's support. And yeah, be sure to follow me on my Instagram. I'll answer y'all questions that you send me to my DMs. It's at Ben_Allen175. Best possible place to reach me. So I really do appreciate y'all's time coming in here to check out this video. And yeah, thank y'all so much. I'll see you on the next one. Later.